welcome to Adventures in Flight, a Scottsdale Public Library virtual full steam ahead program. My name is Lori.
And I'm Alexis. STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Math. This is going to be so fun. I love making paper airplanes.
Me too. Today we're going to make some paper airplanes and whirligigs and learn about the physics behind flight.
That sounds so cool. I bet knowing the science behind it will really help us make airplanes that can fly really well. Bring on the science.
All right. One of the first things to think about when you're trying to make something fly is aerodynamics. What makes a paper airplane fly? Air, the stuff that's all around you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. Well, hold your hand out like this.
Okay.
Like you're going to shake someone's hand. And with your thumb on top, swing your hand back and forth. You feel the air?
Yeah.
All right. You can still feel, now swing it back this way, down like you're going to pat a puppy.
Okay.
All right, so now swing it left and right.
Huh.
It goes easier through the wind, doesn't it?
You can't feel it as much. You can just feel it on this part instead of when you could feel it on this whole part before.
How easily an airplane moves through the air, or its aerodynamics, has a big impact on how far and quickly it will fly.
Aerodynamics is how planes work with opposing forces to stay aloft. Drag and gravity are forces that make the plane fall. And lift and thrust are the forces that make the plane stay up in the air.
Okay.
Planes that push a lot of air are said to have a lot of drag, like your hand did when it was facing the side, or resistance moving through the air. If you want your plane to fly as far as possible, you want a plane with as little drag as possible. The second force that planes have to overcome, of course, is gravity, which pulls all things to the earth.
All right, those other two forces you mentioned, thrust and lift, help planes make a long flight. Thrust is the forward movement of the plane. The initial thrust comes from the muscles of the pilot as a paper airplane is launched.
Like this?
Yep. Lift comes from when the air below the airplane wing is pushing up harder than the air above it is pushing down.
Okay.
It is this difference in pressure that enables the plane to fly. So the pressure up on top is less, and the pressure below is more. So that causes it to
stay up.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so now that we know about aerodynamics, are we ready to make some planes?
Well, I thought we would actually try to make a few. We will start with the basics, an easy paper airplane that we can teach our friends at home to make. Then we can each challenge each other to make modifications to see if we can make it fly further. What do you think?
You're on.
Okay.
I have a good basic paper airplane already.
Okay.
And it's super easy to do. I can show you now. Do you have a sheet of paper?
I do, right here.
Okay. And you guys can do this at home. You just need any kind of copy paper, even if you have notebook paper, like 3-hole punch paper, this one will work. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna fold it in half lengthwise. That's long ways. And you're gonna try and match up the corners, and then you're gonna crease your paper, okay?
I like
Just
to use
like this.
a card like this to make a nice sharp.
Ooh, that's a neat trick. Then we're gonna unfold it, and then you're gonna fold the corners at the top of the page in to meet the middle.
This is called a valley fold, which means you're folding with the edges coming up and in.
That's right, you do origami.
Yes, I love origami.
Okay, so now that you've folded it in like this, you're gonna fold again, but you're gonna go from this corner into the middle, okay? So we're gonna fold this corner into the middle like that. So now you have it like this.
And do both sides.
Yep, do both sides the exact same way, just like that.
That's often the case with origami. You're doing the same thing on both sides.
So it's symmetrical?
Yep.
All right.
Make your point nice and sharp.
All right. So now we're gonna flip the whole thing over, and the folds are gonna go down, and we're gonna fold along this same middle line that we did before, and we're gonna fold it back on itself. So now we're making kind of a triangle, and you wanna make sure that the back part matches up, just like this, okay? Now you're gonna put now we're gonna fold the wings, and the wings are gonna go from the top part, the hypotenuse of this little triangle we made, and we're gonna take it down to the middle line. So A neat trick here is to use your thumb to make sure that the bottom part doesn't kind of bunch up on you and fold out.
The inside piece wants to slide out.
Yeah, the inside piece wants to slide out a little bit.
So,
But if you use your thumb or a finger and kind of hold it in place, you can make it so that this bottom piece matches up with the bottom. And then the other side is much easier because you just have to match it so that it folds all together nicely. Okay? So once you get it, you flip it over
do the other side.
and you do the other side and you make sure that they match up as even as possible. Symmetry is really important because you want the plane to have an equal amount of air resistance and lift on both sides so that it flies in a straight line. Otherwise you're going to get it tilty and curvy and it's not going to go as far. So take a little time, try and be even and match it up. All right, here's our paper airplanes.
So do we make the wings flat straight like this, or a little tilted up like this? I guess we'll have to test it and see what works best.
We can definitely test it. My hypothesis is that wings folded up is going to be slightly better because it makes what we call a tehedral shape. If I point it at the camera, you can see when the wings go up a little bit better. That's going to make the air, as it goes up, funnel in a certain direction. I bet.
I also heard that curling the back end a little bit, just slightly with your fingers, helps too.
Oh, I might be outgunned here. We'll see how this goes.
Outplaned.
Outplaned. Should we take these outside and fly them?
Yeah.
What do you think? Let's do it.
Well, let's bring some paper clips too, if we need to make some different changes in the weight.
Okay, that's a great idea. Should we
Okay.
go?
Yep. All right.
Time to fly some planes! Now to come up with an airplane that's going to beat Lori. Time for some research. Here we go. All right, I did some research and I found a paper airplane design that I think will really knock Lori's socks off. This is a world record-breaking paper airplane, and I'm not the one that designed it. This was designed by John Collins, who holds the world record, and this is his plane, the Suzanne, and he's published it in many books. You can look him up on YouTube. He does have books, how to hold paper airplanes, that you can also look for. It's a little bit challenging and a little bit different, but I think we can do it. So the first thing is we've been using standard letter size paper. You can use A4 paper out of a copy machine. He cuts a little strip off the side and he measures it and he says it's about 19 millimeters. About 19 millimeters is a pretty exact measurement. So if you have a ruler, we're going to use it, and you can cut 19 millimeters off of the long side of your piece of paper. See how this is? I should probably have picked a different color than purple to show you against, but purple and just a tiny thin strip. So if you measure it on the side of the paper, so I'm going to do 19 millimeters and make a little dot, and then I'm going to go about halfway down because I'm not the best at cutting in a perfectly straight line, and I'm going to make another little dot, and I'm going to go all the way down and make a dot, and then you can just cut this off with a piece of scissors all the way along this edge. And those little dots really help you so that you get an even distance all the way across. See how little 19 millimeters is, but it's going to reduce the weight of our plane and make it have less drag. So here's how we're going to fold it. So the first step is we're going to make an X all the way across. So we're going to take one corner and we're going to fold it all the way across. So now we have it that looks like this. There's a strip on the bottom, And from corner, tip to edge, we fold it all the way across. Now we're gonna unfold it, and we're gonna do the same exact thing going the opposite way. So we're gonna take this corner and fold it all the way down to this edge, and we're gonna fold it all the way across. All right, so now we have a paper with an X in the top. Okay. Now we're gonna take this tip and we're gonna fold it so that it goes almost, you're gonna leave a tiny little millimeter of space, and you're gonna go to that line that you made in the center of the paper with your X, right? So you're gonna follow along this line, and you're gonna be following along this line pretty much the rest of the folds. So make sure that you got a nice good crease. We should be using our ruler or a library card if you have one handy to get these creases nice and sharp, okay? Same thing, other side. Remember, we want symmetry. We want it to be as even and as close to symmetrical as we can make it. And that's gonna help our plane fly really well. Okay. So now it kind of looks like there's a star, right? There's a star there. So we're gonna fold it over and over. We've got this, just kept it along the line. Now we're gonna fold this top part down, and we're gonna have this portion, the top of this little peak here underneath where we folded it, and that's gonna be the line that we fold across. You can match this corner up to this line when you're folding it down. So when you fold it down, you can match the two lines that you made, and hopefully they're nice and even, and that'll guide you to where the tip of the paper is underneath, even though you can't see it. So it'll match up perfectly plumb. You can see this line goes and follows this line down, right? That's what we're looking for. Okay, here we go. Now we're gonna fold this corner into this middle line. Are you ready? And again, we're folding along the same crease that we made earlier. So it should, if it bunches up on you, you can kind of push it with your thumb to make it match up as evenly as possible. Okay, here's my ruler. I'm gonna push this down. Make sure that these creases are nice and together. Okay. Same thing like we did with the other plane. Now we're gonna fold it along the center. So we're gonna flip it over, and we're gonna fold it so that it goes all the way up. And when you're folding this portion, make sure that the back edge meets before you crease that plane line down. So my back edge, I don't even want like a millimeter of space there. I want it to be exact, exact, exact. So you have to be really careful when you're folding that part. And we're gonna kind of pinch it down, and then that last edge, that bottom edge, is the last thing we fold. And then we're gonna take this portion, and when we fold it, here's how you know, because you're not gonna go all the way from the tip. You're gonna go about a thumb, and you're gonna hold your thumb there, and you're gonna hold the middle part with this finger, and you're gonna fold your airplane so that this meets your finger and that this flat part is just barely to the corner of the paper that you folded. See how this lays down right here? You're gonna fold it flat. And this first one you should take a little bit of time and make sure that you've got it properly positioned. The next one's super easy because you just flip it over, and now you're gonna match exactly what you did on the other side. And it doesn't have to go. You want the edges to meet up in the back. That's what's important. Even more important than the nose of the plane, although certainly you can match that up and neat it up because you want it to be as identical as you can make it, symmetrical, right? That's the word of our day today, symmetrical. It means that it's the exact same on both sides, so they're equal distances and shapes, and if you folded it in the line, it would match up exactly, which is what we've done a bunch of times with this favorite airplane. Okay, right now, if you look, my wings are folded down. That's not what we want. We want the wings to fold up. And if you have like an alligator clip, which is what this piece of office tool is, if you don't have one of these, you might have like a chip clip bag thing. Any sort of little clip, even a hair clip if you have one. And you can kind of fold it and you can look at the shape and make sure that it is just spot on even, because you want the wings to go up a little bit. Check this out. This is pretty cool. Let's see how it does against Lori. You guys ready? This is for sure gonna win.
Okay, I got an idea. I'm gonna get an origami book on making paper airplanes. That should be his trick. Alexis doesn't know that I'm pretty good at origami. I found some great origami paper airplane designs in library books, such as Michael LaFosse's A Kid's Guide to Origami, Making Origami Airplanes Step by Step. There is a more advanced version of this book by the same author called Michael LaFosse's Origami Airplanes, 28 easy-to-fold paper airplanes from America's top origami designer. And one for advanced origami skills, Origami Model Airplanes. Now these are really cool. They look like replicas of actual airplanes. They're not meant to fly, but they look really cool. So you can try those as well. The plane I decided to make to compete with Alexis is called the Squid. It looks really cool and it has tentacles like a squid. If it doesn't win, it'll still look incredible flying. I also made this dart style plane called the Sky Piercer after watching Foldable Flight's YouTube tutorial. His video is easy to follow and the plane flies really well. We will include a link below. Alright, so I'm going to actually open up the book that this design came from, the Making Origami Paper Airplane Step by Step. This is the one for children. And the squid, I'm going to open up the page so I can refer to it. Okay, so we start off with a regular piece of 8.5 by 11 copy paper. And I'm going to color one side because it helps when you're flipping the piece of paper over. You can refer to the colored side versus the blank side. It's just a trick I like to do. If I don't have regular origami paper, you can kind of make it yourself and scribble on one side. Okay, so we're going to start with the plain side up. And we're going to do a valley fold, which means we're going to bring one side to the other on top. Match the two edges. And then I'm going to use my card to make a nice sharp crease. I'm going to open it up. And then we're going to bring the one back corner in to the center, but leaves a slight space, just very tiny, because we're going to be folding the other half of the paper against it. Okay? So now we're making the other side match. Symmetry. All right. So now we have the colored side showing and the blank side showing here. And then now we're going to flip it over so that the colored side is up. Now we're going to take this corner and I'm going to put my finger right here and keep it there and bring this to the center. We kind of did the same thing with the dart that Alexis showed us how to make. Okay. All right, and the same good thing on the other side. All right, so now the next step is to open out these two flaps. So we have a square here and a triangle here. Okay, so now we're going to take this square and fold it in half. And we're going to meet right here where these two other corners meet. Okay. Make a nice sharp crease. The next step is to bring the outer edges to the point where this triangle is at the bottom. These are going to be the tentacles. So we'll do it both sides again. And now we're going to valley fold our plane so that the blank side is on the outside. So everything here you'll see is going to be on the inside. Tuck those tentacles down and your back half of the plane should match. And now we're going to bring this whole half of the plane down to the edge here. Good sharp crease. And again, we're going to do the other side. Flip it over and make it match. All right, so when you open it up like this, you want the tentacles to be straight up and your wings to be flat. On this particular plane, the wings need to be flat. And then I've heard if you curl up these back ends like this slightly, that helps. Okay, I think I'm going to put a cute little eye on my squid right here and here. He's got a funny little nose here, and I think he's ready to go. This squid is going to win.
That looks so cool. I don't think I've ever seen a paper airplane like that. What is it?
It's called the squid. See the tentacles?
Oh my gosh, they're cute. This, I did some research. It's named the Suzanne. I didn't name it, but it's the world record breaker. I looked up who holds the world record for paper airplanes, and I folded his design. Nice. John Collins in 2012.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Are you ready?
I'm
Should we
ready.
see? All right.
So if your plane is making a nosedive, what you can do is put a paper clip on the back end, or yes, that will cause the weight to distribute behind and cause the nose to rise. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that squid worked a lot better.
It did. You won. That was great. That was so great.
It was
loved your
fun.
squid. It was so cute.
And yours did. You flew amazing.
I
Nice
liked
job.
that it was purple. Are you ready? We should go back in and make some
Okay.
paper helicopters. That was so
It was fun.
I love your squid.
Thank
plane.
you.
It's
He's a
so
cutie
cute.
pie.
He is so cute. And I was surprised how well this thing flew.
Yeah, and this
Well,
cut piercer as well. Yeah.
do your research. Okay, should we make some paper helicopters? What do you think?
I think that'd be so great.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
All right, so paper helicopters.
Or whirligigs.
Whirly what now?
Whirligigs. They aren't really helicopters because the blades aren't spun by a motor and therefore have no thrust. Think of it as not so much as flying, rather falling with style.
Like
Buzz Lightyear! They actually have more in common with nature's very own whirligigs, the seed pods or samaras from maple and sycamore trees. I followed a YouTube video tutorial by Joe Nakashima for making an origami maple seed that was designed by Davor Vinko, and it looks like this. Oh, we included the tutorial link below, and we will show you how it falls when we drop our other whirligigs.
Whirligigs.
All right.
Paper helicopters. That'll be neat to compare.
Yes.
When we compare whirligigs and paper airplanes, we see that they fly differently. So for paper airplanes, drag was a negative force because when you were trying to make an airplane fly, you didn't want drag. But the opposite is true here. The helicopters are using the drag to stay aloft. They need that force to help them slow down as they fall.
Here's how you make one. Under the video description, we have links to a template you can print out. We also have the video tutorial links for the paper copter and the maple seed whirligig. Here's how to do it. So I'm going to make mine. I'm going to cut out one of the templates. They give you 3 on this pattern. I'm going to cut mine out and put it on a piece of colored paper because I would like my whirligig to be colored.
Okay,
All right.
this one is super easy mode because the lines that you're going to cut are, do we cut the solids or the
Solid
dashes?
lines we cut.
cut the solid lines and you don't cut the dashes. It's good that we double checked that because
Yeah.
I would have cut the dash lines. So we're going to cut out along all the solid lines,
I'm
just like this.
placing mine on top of the paper.
So we're cutting it out. This is called easy mode. And then boom, right down the middle. And then one in, boom, and one in, boom. That was like, what, 3 cuts? Super easy. Now we're going to fold on the dotted lines. Dotted lines you fold, solid lines you cut. Don't get it mixed up like me.
All right. So since I don't have my lines on there, I'm going to make sure I place the original next to it so I don't do the wrong thing. So here is a fold and here are the 2 halves. I'm going to fold one direction and I'm going to fold the other one the opposite direction.
So for the A and B, you have to fold them in opposite directions, but for C and D on the bottom where you're making the little handle piece, it doesn't matter which way you fold it. You just want to fold it up like this.
So I'm folding C towards the middle and then I'm going to fold D towards the middle again.
Which is great.
And then this very bottom, I'm going to fold up. So one thing I thought about, it might work better if we fold this first, this bottom edge, and then that way it's tucked inside.
Okay. So just to remind you, to do this, you're going to need the paper template, which we have down below, a pair of scissors, and a paper clip. That's all you need.
I'm going to put the paper clip at the very bottom, right there. And that adds a little weight to the whirligig. Cool. Oh, I got to put mine up higher.
Woo!
Yeah. Sometimes heavier paper makes it harder to fly.
So this one, we're not really using thrust. We're not providing thrust. We're not muscling it out like we did with the paper airplanes. We're just letting it fall. We should drop these from someplace really high.
Yeah, there's a balcony in the library on the top of the stairwell.
We should go over there. We can't run because there's no running in the library. But we can walk over there and drop them off the balcony. What do you think?
I like it.
Okay.
All right.
This looks high enough. Should we try and drop them from here?
Yes. Let's do it.
Okay. I have this one that I cut out. It's just the exact template. Should we drop them and see how they go?
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. I like that one. And then you have your little origami leaf.
Yes, this is a seed called Samara from the maple tree.
Samara. What a cool word.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go.
Woo! Let's snap back. I think it's time to say goodbye, don't you?
Alright, sounds good.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us for Full Steam Ahead this time. I had so much fun making paper
I
airplanes with
did.
you.
I did too. I hope everybody out there too did. And hope to see you at the library soon. We had so much fun and hope to see you soon at the library.
Can't wait to see your creations.
Yes!